eggnog is spiked, the colored lights are blinking at what feels like the speed of sound, and your calendar has suddenly decided it needs to host about 3 events a day.
Yeah.
For most people, the holidays are, inherently stressful. It's this chaotic mashup of forced cheer and logistical
And
nightmares.
that stress is precisely why we're here today. We are doing a deep dive into the data that confirms what I think a lot of us already know.
Which is.
The holidays are universally stressful, sure, but for the ADHD brain, the demands and contradictions of the season are just profoundly magnified.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our mission for this deep dive is to cut through all that noise and give you a shortcut. We want to extract practical strategies and deep insights from our sources.
And these sources cover both the emotional realities and the concrete, research-backed strategies for navigating this season with an ADHD brain.
Because you deserve to actually enjoy it without the total exhaustion at the end.
That's right. What's so fascinating here is that the holidays are the ultimate study of contradictions. I mean, they're full of genuine joy and love and fun,
That at the same time.
but simultaneously packed with stress, grief, anxiety, you name it. And the research confirms that adults with ADHD experience way more stress during this time because the ADHD brain is actually more likely to get wrapped up in both of those emotional extremes.
So let's start there with that emotional landscape because it really does hit the hardest. We want to talk about the emotional pressure cooker of the season, especially for those of you who might have a recent diagnosis.
Whether that's clinical or self-identified, yeah.
Our sources highlight this unique social stressor that can feel all-consuming. They call it the elephant in the room.
It's that constant internal debate you have at gatherings.
Yeah.
You might be waiting for someone to ask about it.
Or just desperately hoping nobody brings it up at all.
Exactly. It feels so vulnerable because the diagnosis, it suddenly names all these processes, like why you struggle to be on time or why you get overwhelmed by sound.
Yeah.
And they suddenly feel so exposed.
And when you feel exposed like that, you look around the room and what do you see? You see this overwhelming impression that everyone else is happy and loving life, perfectly composed, hosting the perfect party.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that contrast between your internal reality and that external festive expectation, it just magnifies the feelings of loneliness.
Yeah, hugely.
And the need to belong is so high. One coping mechanism that comes up a lot is this intense service to others. One account we reviewed mentioned using volunteering
Oh, interesting.
or hyper-focusing on organizing something for someone else as a way to avoid dealing with your own sadness.
That insight about being rubbish friends to themselves, it's harsh, but it rings so true for so many people. So what are we neglecting in ourselves when we're so hyper-focused on helping others?
We neglect our own self-regulation. I mean, when you help others, you get this immediate hit of external validation and novelty, which are huge dopamine boosters for the ADHD brain.
Right.
But taking care of your own needs, like planning your schedule or just remembering to pack earplugs, that takes quiet executive function. It's way less exciting.
So we choose the dopamine spike of being amazingly helpful over being a friend to our own well-being.
We do.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense. And if you connect this to the broader emotional context, the season itself, the sudden decorations, the music, it can trigger past emotional trauma for a lot of people.
And beyond that, there's just the incredible effort it takes to simply be there and maintain a facade.
Yes. It takes an extraordinary amount of effort to fit into the crowd and pretend to enjoy yourself, especially when you're masking sensory issues. And that effort, it just leads straight to burnout.
Or, like the sources say, faking a headache just to get out of there.
You've used up all your mental fuel just trying to fit in.
Okay, so if the emotional effort is constantly draining the battery, the physical environment seems designed to just crank the sensory input right back up.
Which brings us to our next challenge: sensory overload and impulsivity risks. The holidays just, as you said, throw the rule book out the window.
That's a perfect way to put it. You completely lose control over the sensory stuff.
Yeah, the music is loud, you're in close contact with tons of people, you have all these strong competing food smells, and of course,
Kids scream.
screaming with excitement. And when all those stimuli hit you at once, it's not just annoying, it's physically overwhelming.
So for a few weeks, your ability to control your own environment is just gone. You have to metaphorically wear your proverbial hard hat.
And that loss of control is draining, even without the emotional stuff on top of it.
And then this lack of control meets the high-risk, high-impulse factor. We know that many people with ADHD can be, as one source put it, hopelessly impulsive and fancy-free with an appetite for risk and excitement.
And the holidays provide the perfect storm for this to play out.
Because you've got that high excitement, and it's coupled with the fact that alcohol is almost always available.
Mhm.
And you're in close contact with people you might not normally socialize with. I'm thinking high-stakes office parties or really intense family gatherings.
The risk for immediate, regretted, impulsive behavior is just incredibly high.
It is.
And the need to prepare and plan mitigations for that,
Yeah.
it's critical.
Planning not always a strong suit for those with ADHD.
Exactly. And that creates this dangerous feedback loop where the person who most needs a preventative plan is the least likely to actually create one.
So what's the one thing, the one ultra-easy mitigation plan we can take from the source material to interrupt that loop?
It has to be immediate and fail-proof. If you know you are going into an environment with alcohol and social pressure, your one non-negotiable step is this. Pre-program a safe exit text.
Okay.
Send it to a trusted, sober friend or partner. It should be a coded message, like a specific emoji or just the word hard hat.
And that's signals.
That signals you need them to call you with a fake emergency or just come get you, no questions asked. The prep is minimal, but the consequence mitigation is huge.
That is fantastic, actionable advice. Okay, so let's transition from just surviving the chaos to proactively mastering it. Let's start with strategy 1, mapping the calendar.
And this is so crucial because ADHD brains are expansive, big picture thinkers. We get excited and want to commit to all the fun activities.
Every parade, every cookie exchange.
Every single one.
Yeah.
But that leads to massive overcommitment and burnout before you even get to Christmas.
And there's some real science behind this, right?
Yeah, there is. fMRI research shows that ADHD brains have increased activity in what they call global processing regions. So they see the forest, not so much the trees.
You see the entire glittering month of December as one continuous, exciting event.
You do. You don't see the 20 individual scheduling conflicts or the lack of sleep. So if your digital calendar only shows you the trees, the individual events, it's not enough.
So what works better?
You need a visual map of the forest. Using a physical paper calendar where you can get out markers and highlighters. It's essential.
So you can actually see the density.
Exactly. When you can see the whole month on one page, it hits your brain differently than just scrolling through an app. It gives you that visual feedback you need.
Which flows perfectly into our second organizational strategy. Keep it manageable.
You have to drastically scale back the demands on yourself to avoid burnout. You have to lower the bar significantly.
What does that look like in practice?
Well, the sources were clear. You don't need a 6-course feast all made from scratch if you have 10 people coming over. Simplify the menu, buy some pre-made items. The goal is connection, not perfection.
And as one source advised, you don't need to knit sweaters for 42 nieces and nephews.
42.
I mean, that's not a holiday project. That's a full-time business plan. You have to really interrogate what you're expecting of yourself.
It's about giving yourself radical permission to not be Martha Stewart. And the great thing is you can always add more on later if you find you have the energy, but you can't subtract the stress once you've committed.
Okay, finally, for the organizational set, strategy 6. This one addresses a huge holiday struggle, keeping a gift list.
This is all about overcoming that desperate search problem when someone unexpected shows up with a gift. The list should cover 2 simple categories, the who and the what.
And the who needs to be expansive. Right?
Very. Immediate family, friends, hostess gifts, and, importantly, a little cache of generic people who might give you gifts items.
And once you nail the who, the what can be manageable. And this goes back to strategy 2, right? It's okay to give multiple people the same thing.
Totally. Auntie Jane, your cousin Bertha, and Granny Meg can all get the same beautiful specialty coffee this year. No one will know or care. You've removed the decision fatigue.
Okay, shifting gears now. Let's pivot from organizational logistics to internal self-regulation, the strategies for managing your brain and body.
And strategy 5 is critical here. Don't forget exercise.
Now, this can sound like generic health advice, but our sources claim it's pure fuel for your brain. Why is it so important for the ADHD brain right now?
Because exercise provides the same neurochemicals, dopamine and norepinephrine, as ADHD medication. It eases those core executive functioning struggles.
So it actually helps you make better decisions.
Yes, it improves your stress response and, crucially, your decision-making. It helps you decide not to scream at Uncle John.
But fitting that workout in takes planning. Starting is the hardest part.
It is. So you have to reduce the hurdles. The night before, set an alarm, lay out your clothes, set a playlist, make it as easy as possible to just go.
And that leads directly to strategy 4, which is foundational, get enough sleep. The holidays are exhausting.
They're an emotional minefield. Adequate rest is necessary not just to power through, but to regulate your emotions.
Because when you're underslept, your frustration tolerance just plummets.
And that's when you find yourself screaming in frustration when Uncle John tells that same old story for the 64th time. Your ability to handle it is just gone.
So sleep is a mitigation strategy in itself.
And once your physical needs are managed, strategy 3 brings us back to managing stimulation. Since ADHD brains are wired to take in all the things.
All the sounds, all the lights.
Everything. So proactive, targeted steps to minimize the input. You need tools.
Like what?
Bring discrete earplugs or noise-dampening buds to noisy parties. Wear blue light blocking glasses to reduce the strain from all the Christmas lights. Lean into your favorite cozy tagless sweaters.
You're just giving your brain fewer things to process.
Exactly. And this is all about knowing yourself, which is strategy 7. Know your limits. Whether you're an introvert who hits their max at 2 social events a day or someone who can handle 5, it doesn't matter what your limit is.
It just matters that you recognize it.
And then use that calendar we talked about to physically block out recovery time.
Which brings us to our final set of strategies: communication and boundaries.
Yes. Strategy 8 is communicate. This is about letting friends and family know your needs and owning your limitations, but doing it proactively. And here's the key. Offer solutions, not just problems.
Oh, that's so important. That's the difference between being seen as difficult and being seen as just managing your needs. Can you give an example?
Sure. If the screaming chaos of Christmas morning is historically overwhelming for you, don't just announce, "I can't come."
Right.
Call ahead and say something like, "I'm going to arrive around lunchtime instead, so I can catch everyone when things have quieted down." You're solving the problem for yourself without creating one for them.
And finally, strategy 9. This is a brilliant brain hack to avoid future guilt. Give thanks in the moment.
Because the reality is that physical thank you note you plan to write, it's probably not going to happen.
Let's be honest. Your brain will be on to the next thing, and that forgotten card won't pop into your head until you find the unused stationery on the 4th of July.
And the guilt cycle starts because you genuinely meant to do it, but your working memory failed you.
So immediate gratitude is the solution.
It is. For a gift received in person, a hug and a sincere thank you right there. For mailed gifts, a quick email or a phone call the minute you open it.
Don't give your brain one more thing to remember and your heart one more thing to feel guilty about.
Exactly. Capture the moment of gratitude before it escapes you.
Okay, we have covered so many strategies for surviving, for organizing, but let's talk about the absolute best part of the ADHD brain during the holidays. Let's embrace strategy 10. Allow yourself to get swept up.
Yes, absolutely. My favorite quality is the ADHD brain's ability to go all in. The sources encourage you to relish this tendency.
Embrace the childlike glee.
Sing your heart out. Rip open presents with genuine, unrestrained excitement. This is your superpower right now.
And when you allow yourself that unrestrained energy, it's often contagious. Your enthusiasm can really lift up everyone around you.
That's the goal. The whole purpose of these strategies isn't just to survive the holidays. It's to embrace that energy and celebration.
So the key is pre-planning for the emotional and sensory boundaries, not just the logistical ones.
Exactly. If you manage the input, you free up the space to truly enjoy the output, that infectious joy we were just talking about.
So whether you choose to discuss your diagnosis with family or just use the classic "I'm fine," which we all know can mean I don't want to talk about it, you now have a toolkit to keep yourself okay.
You do. And here is a final provocative thought for you to mull over. If the holiday season is this concentrated period of chaos and expectation, how can adopting just one of these all-in strategies, be it mapping your calendar for limits or immediately communicating your gratitude, serve as a permanent template for managing daily life throughout the rest of the year?
Something to chew on as you sip that eggnog. We hope these strategies help you dive deeper into the magic of the season.